Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for being here. And we are on our way to hitting 1,000 subscribers, which has been our goal for some time now. So if you like what you hear, make sure you hit the subscription button, hit the bell notification to know when I put up a new video. It helps out more than you can ever possibly know. Those of you who know me know that I have lately been an FPS player, but that has not always been the case. For 15 to 20 some odd years, I mostly focused on MMOs, including my own career, in which I worked with 989 Studios in Variant to be a GM on a game well known as EverQuest. I played EverQuest during the alpha stage and then beta and then into when it went live, in which I will also put some footage up above of the very first video I ever edited when it came to a video game, which was The Planes of Time in EverQuest. Naturally, I was introduced to WoW after that, and that pretty much consumed my life up until about 2004 when Unreal Tournament came out, and that was the first real introduction to online FPS play that I had at the time because I was constantly playing MMOs. I was doing so many things with MMOs that I also had a regular job, so when I got back from my job, it didn't really leave a whole lot of space open to play other games. While others were playing other games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, Splinter Cell, and Far Cry, I was busy working and then doing MMOs, so I was pretty much locked into one genre type of game. But I also was not considering doing any kind of journalism in this gaming space whatsoever. It wasn't until later in 2019 when Call of Duty came out and I was introduced to it and I was hooked immediately before I decided to go on an adventure of being a YouTuber and a content creator of any type when it came to FPS games. It just hooked me that greatly. Since then, we have seen a multitude of tools that have come out that allow indie developers to develop a wide variety of games that didn't have technology that was readily available to them. A good number of those games tend to be FPS games, which is the reason why I've been following the title Transience and trying to keep up with their dev vlogs, which originally this video was going to be about. But instead, my quirky little brain kept concentrating on a specific part of the issue that's been going on that drives me absolutely crazy, and that is the number of people who think indie titles need to bring the next big thing to the FPS industry, or they need to break the FPS industry. Sometimes that's not even their target. Now, I know this looks like I'm defending Transience and Big Fry, but the reality is that they're perfectly capable of defending themselves. I see this across the board on many indie developers that I have been looking at over the past year when I started this journey. And sometimes the question gets brought up of, well, what is your game bringing to the table that others don't? How about fun? How about just plain old regular fun, even if it's from the stuff that you've done before in the past that you just happen to have an itch for and you want to do, or even if it's something futuristic or new to you but still has a similar feeling like just doing a standard FPS playthrough, which I think is making a return. Looking even closer at some of those comments, it winds up being that this is what people think is constructive criticism. So much so that even dumbass statements like nobody giving a shit about the game outside of their community has been said. So let's put that into perspective. Fry has 300,000 subscribers and Blue Drake 42 has 740 subscribers. Combined, you're looking at 1 million, which is more than most cities in the United States. There are only 9 cities in the United States that have a populace of more than 1 million people. I don't know about you, but the last time I went to a concert that was sold out that had 50,000 people in it, that was a lot of fucking people. To put it in even further perspective, the Super Bowl only had 70,240 people at capacity. And we're talking about 1 million people and combined between 2 fucking channels. So yes, they are targeting their community, a very large one at that. And of course, the public, which is also being targeted, so even the audience is larger than that. Our constructive criticism has been boiled down to these kind of comments, so much so that Blue Drake had to put up a 20 or 30-minute video on how to leave constructive criticism because of the number of people who were leaving comments that were not in the realm of constructive criticism when he launched his game, Operation Harsh Doorstop. This needs to stop. The amount of technology that we have available to us to allow people to create things, especially indie titles that are being made by a single person, such as Bright Infinite for an example. which tends to lead to the public having a skewed opinion on how indie titles should be developed, because they think everybody has now the skill set because the technology is there. But then you get slapped in the face with the reality of things when you look at a dev vlog like what's happening with Transience, because they have a UX designer and a programmer and a music writer and the list just goes on and on and on. Not every game is being developed by a single developer. My suggestion is that you watch some of these dev vlogs and you see what exactly goes into making a title before you start leaving idiotic statements around. I know that's a bold thing to be saying to people directly, especially when you're trying to gain an audience, but these comments aren't really directed at you, more than it's directed at the people who want to leave feedback for a game, and their feedback consists of solid single one sentence answers of this game is trash. But why? Why is it trash? What's broken about it? Constructive criticism has really fallen to the wayside. And I think that stems from the direct thing of people expect the next big thing. But when you have an old school player like me, sometimes you just want to play a game that gives you the same feeling that you had for the throwbacks. Sure, we're not going to go back and redevelop 007 or Perfect Dark, and there are AAA companies that will certainly try to raise those titles back up by using new technology and continuing the story. But for consumers like myself, sometimes we just want to play a game that gives us the same feeling that we had back in the day when we played those titles for the first time. Good old-fashioned fun. And that's what I believe is what a title like Transience is bringing to the table. I don't certainly follow Transience because I think it's going to break the gaming industry or put out the gaming industry's FPS titles as what should be the next big thing. I follow Transience because I'm looking for that feeling, that specific feeling. It's just some good old-fashioned fun, playing something that's recognizable but new. With all this information at your fingertips now and how you have my opinions on the way that I feel when it comes to these titles, I want you to keep those things in mind when you start talking about these titles, including what is their actual target. If their target is to be the next big thing, then, let them say that and then do that. But don't imply that to their target audience just because that's what you are looking for. I hope I gave you guys something to chew on while I'm recovering from the flu this week. And I was not going to put out a video this week, but this just kept gnawing at my brain and I really wanted to say something about it. So remember to tell your loved ones that you love them often, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. We're on our way to 1K subscribers, so remember to hit that subscription button, turn on the bell notification to know when I put up a new video since they're random currently. Thank you for listening to my rant today, and I hope you have an amazing week.